Now you've had some controversy over there out there about the whole issue of how do you deal with hate speech.
Okay. Um, the way we deal with hate speech is the way we deal with anything wrong. Since we trust our community, we've given people the ability to flag postings which are somehow wrong. And the deal there is that people respond to that by helping us out, flagging stuff. There's still some ugly stuff out there, but between our community and our software, we're getting better and better at getting rid of it. It is a long effort, and we're taking it seriously and doing a good job for now. Got to do a better job.
You seem like an interesting sort of person in that you're a hybrid of the geek programmer type and the liberal arts content sort of person. Do you see yourself as kind of bridging that gap?
I don't know if I'm bridging any gaps, but yeah, my background is pure nerd, including the whole cliche, plastic pocket protector, thick black glasses taped together. I really did that. But doing what I do, especially having done customer service in different flavors for over 12 years, that does change you. And I've been doing customer service full time for about 7 years. Finally, I will be able to do less than full time because our customer service hardcore team, led by Clint Powell, they're picking up more and more of that, and I do need a break.
So what do you do now? What's your next challenge?
The next challenge on Craigslist is for me to keep doing customer service, to keep suggesting improvements, and to get out of the way otherwise. My tech team is in some fear that I might try to help, and they're told to distract me with shiny gadgets. Other than that, I'm trying to expand on what I've learned in customer service in bigger ways. Like one of my new hobbies is public diplomacy, urged on by someone named Madeline. And again, I mean the diplomat, not the tasty cookies, although they are delicious. But I'm doing things now like getting involved with movements of moderates to help get peace in the Middle East. I'm also trying to work in areas where improvements in media, especially in Washington, restore the role of the press in speaking truth to power, since we really do need to restore constitutional law and the rule of law.
It's interesting you talk about that because you go talk to the people in the newspaper industry, and this nice fellow that's sitting across the table from me here might as well be public enemy number one. And they say that the way that they get the resources to put reporters on stories to be able to go out and speak truth to power is the money they make off their classified ads, which has been put out of business by you.
Okay. There's a lot of misconceptions going around. I've now spoken to a lot of people in the newspaper industry, the analysts, publishers, and so on, and they tell me that the biggest single problem facing the news industry, a lot of chains are public in the sense that they're listed on Wall Street, and their investors insist on very high profit margins, 10%, 20%, and as a result, investigative reporters, for example, are very expensive and don't contribute positively to the bottom line. That's the kind of big problem that the newspaper industry faces.
So do you have any responsibility at all in terms of taking kind of some of their financial underpinnings out from under them?
We do affect classifieds related revenue, although the analysts and the publishers themselves tell me that we're a minor part of the problem. The real problem has to do with specialized sites that go after the biggest moneymakers for newspaper classifieds, specifically car ads and job ads.
Now you charge for job ads, right? That's the one thing you charge for.
Yeah, we charge for job ads in 7 cities and apartment ads in New York only. The brokers asked us to charge them. The principle is that in 2000 or so, I asked a lot of people, hey, what's the right way to pay the bills, and maybe even do a little better than that. And people said, hey, charge people who are otherwise paying more money for less effective ads. And they said, sure, charge for job ads, charge realtors and apartment brokers for their ads. Other than that, not much consensus. And that means our site is running almost completely free, and that ain't bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. So, when you started, you know, there was Craigslist out there and there wasn't much else. When you look out at kind of the social media, for want of a better word, environment that we see now, whether we're talking about a dig or we're talking about all sorts of different upcoming.org, all the different kinds of sites that are out there where people can be parts of communities. Do you see what's happening out there as kind of a fulfillment of what it was that you were trying to do?
You know, I don't even think about it. Lots of people are doing lots of different things, many of which really help people out in big ways, and that works for me. Right now, the net is being used to give everyone a voice, and of course we're trying to build mechanisms to figure out for any given individual what the individual wants to hear. But what's happening now is that moderates and reasonable people are getting a bigger and bigger voice. Used to be the only people you heard from were the extremists and the fanatics and the crooks. But that's changing now. I think 2008 will mark a tipping point, at which point the moderates start to take over, which will have big effects, I think, in the November elections, and I think may have big effects in Israel and Palestine.
Is there a Craigslist Gaza Strip? Is there a Craigslist Nablus? Is there a Craigslist Jerusalem?
There is Jerusalem and Cairo, for example. Those are our two biggest sites in that area. I'm now proposing that in our next batch of cities, we're going to add Ramallah, partially because I have friends in the neighborhood from there, and it sounds like a really good idea.
And can the sort of community that's created on a Craigslist really make a difference in a situation like that?
I don't know if our community will have any effect like that, but I've been looking into other areas apart from Craigslist, and that's just me talking about Craigslist. I look at a Mideast peace group called One Voice. They've enlisted hundreds of thousands of moderates, equally divided between Palestinians and Israelis. And what they're saying is they want to make a deal. They're not ready to trust the other side yet, but that's changing.
When you say moderate, define that for me.
A moderate is just an ordinary person who wants to get on with their lives and live and let live.